Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation. With me, your host Owen. Channel that brings you your team every single day. The channel is run by you, by the fans, for you, the fan guys. Hit the sub, ring the notification bell, then you'll never miss out on any of the great content. All free, everything is free. All you gotta do is hit that sub. Well, guys, we're back in the UK now. Normal service can be resumed. No more dodgy videos on balconies or in sunshine where I've got a towel on me because I'm absolutely sweating like a pig. Well, back in the UK now, guys, a lot cooler than Lake Garda in Italy, but still talking about the same old Rangers, as always, proving that we are always all over the latest news here at Glasgow Rangers Nation. Well, we've got a few things we need to discuss today, this morning, or this afternoon, or even this evening. Obviously, depends when you pick up the video, doesn't it? So that's one of the things about these daily news videos. They can be picked up at any point in time. We're going to talk a little bit about Todd Cantwell and a couple of things about Todd. One, what he's been saying, and number two, what Michael Beale has been saying about Todd Cantwell. Also, more news about Yanis Hagi's possible departure soon from Glasgow Rangers, as Stevie Clifford exclusively revealed on Rangers Review the other day. Jack Butland's also been talking to the media about the Ibrox atmosphere and Ibrox redemption star, Mr. Rabbi Rotondo himself. We're going to look a little bit at Abdallah Seema and also at what Rangers have spent so far this summer and look at how it's possibly going to be balanced out by what is coming in to the club soon as this window ticks on down. Guys, we're getting closer to the end. It's the 24th of August today. We are, but what, 7-8 days away from the window slamming shut until January, and then no more incomings, no more outgoings, and we have to deal with what we've got, even if that means the squad is exceptionally bloated. Well, let's start off with everyone's favourite Rangers player at this moment in time, Mr. Todd Cantwell. I've got to say, I love Todd Cantwell. Todd Cantwell is one of us. Todd Cantwell gets it, doesn't he? He totally gets, number one, the rivalry between us and that lot from across the city. He totally gets what it is to be a Rangers player. I was reading a fantastic quote, rereading the book Revolution whilst on holiday, and there's a great quote in there that says, I've heard you're a great player, but can you play for Rangers? I think that about says it all. You know, to play for Rangers is very different, isn't it? To play for many clubs, it is a highly pressured atmosphere. It is an honour to pull on that royal blue jersey, but it carries with it a whole set of pressures, doesn't it? And I think Todd, no matter what you think of him, carries off those sets of pressures exceptionally well for me. Listening to Todd talk after the game the other night was, well, just he just makes you love the guy, absolutely love the guy. You know, he comes out and says what an honor it is for that play for the club, what a special atmosphere it is, how he loves playing for this club, what this club means to him. He, like I said, he is totally one of us. He totally gets it, what it is to be a Rangers man. And I think he is a Rangers man to his very core. You've only got to look at how he plays on the field. The fact that he goes out there, and whether it's minute 1 or minute 96, he is out there chasing down, harassing, harrying, carrying the ball forward, looking to create, getting in people's faces, getting the crowd going. I mean, how many times have we seen him in recent times giving it this, getting the crowd up for games? He is just outstanding, absolutely outstanding. Our finest player by some stretch of the imagination. And what's even better is they hate him, and they hate him because they're scared of him. Well, Michael Beale has also been talking about Todd Cantwell. Now, Todd Cantwell, it was even, I suppose, the most, you know, even with your Rangers goggles on, if you take them off for a moment, you've got to admit that the other night he was kind of lucky to stay on the field. The referee kind of did him a favour. He could have easily got himself sent off. And there's times when Todd does get himself a little bit carried away, doesn't he? He kind of gets very much taken up into the moment, and he'll do something, tackle in a certain way, say something, get in someone's face, because the passion kind of takes over him, doesn't it? And I think Michael Beale's talked very much about that. And he talked about the fact that Cantwell needs to kind of be very careful when it comes to walking that disciplinary tightrope. You know, Todd is certainly no use to us, is he? If he's suspended or he's missing because he's been sent off, or, you know, in the middle of a heat of the battle of a vital game like that Champions League qualifier the other night, he is not there because he has been sent off. You know, that game would have been, I think, very, very different. You know, if a situation presents itself in terms of the fact we were down to 10 men if he'd been sent off. Now, what did Michael Beale have to say about that, that second yellow that he could have easily got for that challenge on Serginho Dest, a very heavy tackle that he got that kind of warranted a second yellow. But the referee, who, let's all face it, had a pretty shocking game, kind of missed. And I'm not saying he should have sent Todd off. Of course, I'm not saying that, but for 1 minute. But he did have a pretty poor game, the referee. We do know that. And I mean, let's face it, booking John Souttar because he beat Luke de Jong in the air with a header is pretty poor indeed. As I've said, Todd bleeds blue, doesn't he? He really does bleed blue. And Michael Beale has been talking about that in what he's been saying. Michael Beale has talked about the fact that Todd needs to be very, very careful with the way he goes about things. He said he's usually on the end of things like that, so I do like him to show his grit. But this is a new level for Todd. He's not played in Europe in his career, so this is a new level again. He will have learned a lot from tonight as well. I think that's kind of a thing. He wants Todd to kind of manage the situation, manage his behaviour, manage it when the red mist kind of descends, or the passion kind of takes over a little bit and the energy takes over a little bit. He needs to calm it down, and I think that's a very wise instruction from Michael Beale for Todd. Because, like I said, Todd Cantwell is outstanding. The guy is absolutely outstanding since he's come to the club, in all that he's contributed to this club and what he does on a game-to-game basis. And we saw, I think, when he was left out of the team against Kilmarnock, quite just how much we miss Todd when he's not in the team. And a suspended Todd Cantwell is certainly not something we want at all. Now, another creative midfielder who many Rangers fans would be sorry to see leave is Ianis Hagi. Now, Ianis has had an interesting few days, hasn't he? Many people lauded his performance over Greenock Morton, whereas others said that it was only Greenock Morton, for heaven's sake, and to calm it down. Others have kind of pointed to the fact that in the past in Europe he has been outstanding and done very well, and that his style of play is suited to Europe. Others have suggested that he's too slow for Scottish football, yet others have said, well, Kevin De Bruyne is not that fast. It's his passing ability. So where do we stand on Ianis Hagi? Where do you stand on Ianis Hagi? Let me know. Well, it appears that a Turkish club have come in for Ianis Hagi, according to reports. Not the Turkish club you may have expected. Now, Ianis has obviously been linked with a move to clubs like Celta Vigo, Aston Villa, Leeds, a number of clubs in England. But the latest club to come a knocking for the services of Ianis Hagi is reportedly Turkish Super League outfit Trabzonspor. Now, Trabzonspor are not one of the big clubs in Turkey. They do repeatedly appear in Europe, but they are certainly not a club that obviously is at the very, very top of Turkish football. That would be a Gala, a Fenerbahce, for example. Now, it is a situation where Ianis wants first-team football and is desperate to get first-team football. He does not want to play that bit part. And he said after that game against Greenock Morton, an interview that has got many thinking that it actually, no matter what Michael Beale may have said at the time, has actually upset him. Ianis said that he didn't agree with the manager's decision, that he was disappointed in the manager's decision not to start him, and that he wants to start football matches. But he did qualify that by saying he respects the manager. But many feel that he should not have come out in public and kind of aired this dirty laundry, that those conversations should have been conversations that took part behind closed doors. Now, Ianis Hagi comes from Brand Hagi. Now, Brand Hagi is massive in Romania, and many people have called on him to be dropped from the Romanian national team, for example, because he isn't getting regular first-team football. Again, not something that Ianis wants. And given the fact that the name Hagi plays such a fundamental part in Romanian football, Ianis is kind of seeking this guaranteed first-team football, something that Michael Beale cannot offer him, given him the fact that we do have Cantwell and Lammers and Lawrence and Rotondo, so many attacking players that can play in and around those strikers where Ianis normally plays. Now, for one, and I'm not just saying this because Victoria is my co-host and I've got a lot of time for Victoria, and Victoria loves Ianis, we know that. I'm saying this because Ianis Hagi is a quality player. Now, you've got to kind of balance this with a couple of things, haven't you? Number one, yes, Ianis Hagi is very much a quality player. He's got good skills, a great passing range. He's a very technically gifted player. But if Rangers want to move out a number of players and trim this squad down, whilst you may want to get rid of the likes of the useless John Lundstrom, or you may want to get rid of Borna Barisic, or you may want to get rid of Scott Wright, or Ben Davis, you've got to have an asset that's saleable. And you kind of feel that those assets that I talked about just then are not massively saleable, whereas the likes of Yanis Hagi, as we've seen with Fashion Sakala, they are saleable. And Yanis Hagi is certainly one that is very saleable. Now, like I said, Turkish Super League outfit Trabzonspor have shown an interest in him. They are managed by former Osijek and Dynamo Zagreb boss Nedad Bielic. Trabzonspor have signed some names that will be familiar to Scottish football fans this summer already. Trabzon have already signed Croatian winger Tonio Teklic, former Celtic Lone Star Filip Benkovic as well. Now they apparently want to add Hagi to this list. Michael Beale said that he obviously couldn't get into private conversations. I think the most important thing is that I just want to play, that he wants to obviously resolve this Yanis Hagi situation. Now, Yanis is obviously a name that other teams around Europe are interested in. Now, obviously, if Trabzon come in for him, there's going to be a great chance that Gala are going to want to be in there for him. Galatasaray have kind of, I don't know, through time, haven't they? They've kind of shown that they have sort of a fate, a destiny to have another Hagi on their books, and Yanis could be that situation, which would be great for Rangers if we can get a bidding war going on between Trabzon and Gala. As yet, there's no mention of Gala. I'm sure they are somewhere in the shadows looking at this from a distance, deciding whether to make a move or not. But very interesting that Trabzon are definitely interested in the services of playmaker Yanis Hagi. But like I said, I don't particularly want him to leave. I'd love him to stay. I'd love him to get up an opportunity. I know that's not a popular opinion with all Rangers fans, but hey, it's a game of opinions. And look, you got an opinion, put it down there. I don't mind. Get it in the comments. We like different opinions as long as they're constructive, as long as they are, put in a constructive manner. I had some alleged Rangers fans saying, do you even support Rangers? Aren't you just doing this for money? Well, mate, I've been a Rangers fan since '87. I've followed them through thick and thin. I've followed them since we went bust, since the Sooners era. Look, I eat, sleep, breathe the club. And look, don't insult me, please, by saying stupidity things like that. Well, another man who was very impressed the other night with the atmosphere at the game was Jack Butland. Jack Butland talked into the media post the PSV game. He talked about how special the atmosphere was at Ibrox and how it was certainly one that he would not forget in a very long time. He spoke about the fact that he was disappointed they didn't get the victory, but proud of the way the boys had performed. And he hoped that they could go over to Eindhoven and get that result to get them through to the Champions League group stages, which, as Michael Beale has mentioned, is certainly the given aim of the players and the staff at the club. He also spoke about teammate Rabbi Rotondo. Now, Rabbi Rotondo is seemingly on his redemption mission at this moment in time. Rabbi has kind of come back a new Rabbi. It's kind of like the Rabbi of last season was some sort of imposter, and this new Rabbi is just, I don't know, a different man altogether. Speed, skill, talent, finishing ability, just a different Rabbi, basically. Can it last? My God, I hope it lasts. I really hope it lasts. Do we start him against PSV in the next round? Oh, I don't know. It's a difficult decision. I think he's a great impact sub. I think he comes on and runs at tight defenses and causes all sorts of problems. So is that the answer? I think it's a difficult one. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. But Jack Butland talked about what a great character Rabbi is and the fact that he wishes Rabbi would be quiet on certain occasions. He's obviously a very lively character in and around the club. How hard he's trained, how he's come back, and how he's kind of developed. And I think the Rotondo of last season perhaps wasn't fully fit, wasn't fully settled into the club. And now he's had a pre-season, he's been fit, he's got himself sorted, he's ready to go. We're perhaps seeing the true player, the player we actually bought last summer, that he is that quality player that we all thought and hoped he was. So we certainly hope Rabbi can continue this fine vein of form that he's in. And Jack Butland certainly spoke very highly of him after the game the other night. Now, one player who has kind of flattered to deceive in terms of his performances has been Abdallah Seema. Now, Abdallah Seema is a difficult one, isn't it? He was pretty poor against PSV Eindhoven up until obviously that goal, that amazing goal, that worldie of a shot. Where, how, why? Abdallah Seema. I don't know. I really don't know. The guy's quick. Yes. He's tall. Yes. He's physical. Yes. Does he show it all the time? No. Does he perform to the fullest of his abilities all the time? No. Can he? Can he? Yes, he can. What do you do with him? Where do you use him? I mean, I personally would like to see him using his more natural position, which is out wide. As a wide man, maybe you could have Rotondo one side, Seema the other side, giving width to whoever the main striker is, whether that be Dessers or Danilo. I'm sure you've all got your own feelings on that. For me, Danilo would be the best bet. He's the better of the two strikers, although neither have shown up particularly well so far for the club. But Seema, I think, when you use him through the middle, when you use him as a more central figure, he's not the most effective. That's not how you get the best out of him. And are we not using him in the right way? Are we not giving him the best opportunity to succeed? That is a question I think we do need to think about. And obviously, we build towards the Ross County game on Saturday. Yes, I know the PSV game is in that rearview mirror. Yes, I know it's coming. I know it's still there, but that Ross County game is very vital. We cannot afford to drop points in the league. We cannot afford poor performances in the league. We need to keep up with the pack, and that victory on Saturday is going to be vital. I expect Beale to shuffle his pack and him to rotate his squad a little bit ahead of that game. We'll, of course, bring you more news on that closer to the time as we build up towards the game. Well, guys, that's pretty much it for this morning, except for one last thing. Here's some facts for you. This is what we've spent so far this summer, according to Transfer Market. 5.4 million on Danilo, 4.3 million on Dessers, 3 million on Sam Lammers, 1.2 million on Jose Cifuentes, and the rest were free, gratis, costing us absolutely nothing as they were either released or at the end of their contracts. Now, if we do a little kind of totting up procedure, a little bit of mathematical, some of you may have done that already before I even mention the figure to you. You know, that is representing a total of about £13.9 million worth of business by the club. Now, if you consider we've already brought in 4 million for Fashion Sakala, we've brought in possibly 5.5 million coming in for Glenn Kamara, takes you to 9.5 million. Yanis Hagi will probably bring about 4 million. That's probably 13.5 million. You know, we're already talking about, before you even think of anybody else who's left the club, to just kind of breaking even on this already. Now, yes, look, I get it. 9.7 million is a lot to spend, about 12.7 million technically on strikers who've not yet really hit the ground running. And that's got to be a little bit concerning for Michael Beale. But, you know, the money we're bringing in, I think, is going to balance this budget, and we will balance out the amount we brought in. However, that could, of course, all change if we then went invested in new players. Certainly, you know, names like Jake Cooper continue to be linked. Sam Field is another one who's been continually linked with the club, as Rangers apparently aren't fully done in this transfer window, according to a lot of insiders and analysts of the club. Well, let me know what you think anyway. Thanks for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the content, please hit the sub, help us to keep growing the channel, and also ring the notification bell so you never miss out. Also, two things that I always need you to do for me. Number one, smash the like. It helps. God, does it help. And remember always, we are the people.